Hi, everybody. Welcome to 3Q New Mexico's Business Podcast. I am your host, Pam Myers, and my wonderful co host is the fabulous Erica Yoakum. Our guest today is Jeff Lakeman. Jeff has a company called the Santa Fe Fixer, and it's a handyman service out of the Santa Fe area. So, welcome, Jeff. Thanks so much for joining.
Thanks for having me. I'm looking forward to this.
Okay,
Good.
so I have to say, when I heard the Fixer, the Santa Fe Fixer, I went straight to politics. I'm like, ooh,
Well,
handyman, way more useful. But the name was like, ooh, the Fixer.
can you see that there's a toolbox on my card?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So the reason for that is we were at a Pride After Five mixer, and everybody started pulling their business cards out and telling people what they did. So I pulled mine out, and it didn't have a toolbox on it, and it said the Santa Fe Fixer. And the
See,
lady asked me if I could take care of her stalking ex-boyfriend.
I'm telling you, I'm
And
telling
then
you.
we got a toolbox.
Yeah. That's
I'm
funny.
telling you, especially in Santa Fe. Like if you were, the Albuquerque Fixer, nobody would. But Santa Fe, that's the seat of power in the state. It's like,
Right?
oh,
Yeah. Cool.
okay.
So,
So,
mhm.
how did you become a handyman fixer dude? Like, have you been doing this forever, or is this I'm bored and I'm
Um,
going to do this now?
I started doing this on the side about probably 20 something years ago. Uh, my husband and I built a house, and I worked with the building crew every day
Hmm.
and kind of picked up some knowledge of certain things. And then he worked for a developer selling new construction, and
Oh,
everybody that he sold to wanted to change out their ceiling fans, their faucets, paint the bathroom a different color, fix the draft coming under the door. So it kind of evolved that way, but I've always been an accountant for my whole career and still am.
Oh,
So
wow.
the fix it up stuff kind of gets me out of the house and gets me somewhere other than sitting in front of a computer doing numbers.
Oh, wow. I did not know that.
so are you
That
Yeah.
you
just
were an
coming out of
accountant.
your like crazy time right now? You're like it's starting to mellow out for you?
Not really. Nothing seems to be mellowing out. I've been working at the same house on and off since August. It's a remodel, retro, new floors, new kitchen, new paint, and then doing other jobs, filling in when I can. But Santa Fe's an old town, and there's a lot of old houses here, and a
Mhm.
lot of them need some help.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you have like a specialty thing that you like to do or do best?
I mean, I do a lot of painting because I can
Mhm.
paint in a straight line, and then that kind of
That's a bonus, yeah.
it kind of separates you out from some of the others.
Yeah.
But I mean, I did a lot of work at one point for a short-term rental company, and you have between checkout and check-in to get in there and fix whatever's wrong.
Right.
And the funnest thing, I went into a house one day and they wanted me to fix a pinball machine. They had bought
Really?
like a whole box of parts. They didn't know what was wrong with it. They said, "Here, take this box and go make this thing work."
Oh my
So
God.
between me and YouTube, in about 3 hours, I got it working.
Wow. That's hysterical.
Yeah,
Do you-
not every day you get a call to fix a pinball machine.
No, no, yeah. I mean,
But I do
really,
painting. I do minor electric, minor plumbing. If what somebody needs done requires a license, then
Mhm,
that's not me. They
mhm.
need to call an electrician or a plumber or somebody like that. But
Right.
switching out fans and faucets and painting gates blue out in El Dorado and
Mhm.
just all kinds of different stuff, really.
Yeah.
And what's your work area? I mean, like how
So,
what I mean, you don't come down to Los Lunas, do you?
well, depending on the job, it would be up for conversation.
Okay.
Most of my work is in Santa Fe and El Dorado, and I haven't been to Albuquerque to do anything, but that's not saying that I wouldn't do it.
Okay.
It's,
So just
it's
depending on the job.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. If it's an all day thing and worth the drive,
Mm-hmm.
then yeah. But I probably wouldn't drive, to Los Lunas to replace a light fixture
Right. Or fix a pinball machine.
Right.
or fix a pinball machine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm learning all kinds of so. Oh my God, we just replaced cabinets because these cabinets they started falling off the wall, and so when we started taking them down, we realized why. That the previous folks had. It's have you seen the meme where there's a TV and then you see a row of holes behind it and said, I knew I'd find a stud sooner or later. That's kind of how they hung these old cabinets. I'm really surprised that they lasted as long as they did, quite honestly. So, and then but I've said to many folks, if you hear me talking about DIY, slap me, because it was painful. It was the just getting the effing microwave up above the, under the new cabinet and up above the stove and all of that. And they give you a template, but the template has a border around it. Is that part of the measurement? No, it's not. Right. And you find out you hold it up on the wall and you go, hey, Shaggy, there's something wrong here. Right. And
This is not going to fit.
I'm sitting in the living room watching my oldest son and my husband. They've got calipers and rulers and thingies, and it took them like forever to figure out how to get this thing up on the wall. I'm like, they should, when you walk in, they should go, have you done this before? And you go, no. And they go, no, 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 we won't sell this to you. Thank you very much. Find yourself a contractor or a handyman, somebody who can walk you through. At least you can watch it the first time, because if you've never done this before, you should not be doing this.
Yeah, I mean, I've most of the stuff I do is new ideas and new things for people, but I have on occasion gone in and fixed something that they tried to do. It usually involves something that really you shouldn't try to do, like put a new exterior door in your house, or fix gutters that involve being 20 feet up on a ladder. I mean, there's just certain things that homeowners probably should not do.
Yeah,
I love watching these DIY things, and they're like paint. They put painter's tape on the wall and they paint a perfect line, right? I'm like, well, what if you have bumpy walls?
Right.
Yep.
Right.
Every wall.
Because I did that in my bathroom, and guess what? Didn't work.
Yeah.
You can't tape textured walls.
No.
So yeah, where are those YouTube videos? Huh?
I'll make one.
There you go. That's what
go.
you need to do. Because I'm watching it and I'm like, really close to the camera going, there's not one damn bump on that wall. Anybody can tape a perfectly flat surface.
Right.
So in my bathroom, you can see where I needed a pro. Yeah.
So you don't do anything that requires a license. Are there things that you just don't really care to do?
I mean, I tried to patch and repair some stucco on a person's house,
Mm-hmm.
and realized that's why there are stucco professionals out there. Because I don't care how you mix it or how you apply it. When you feel that little crack up on the side of the house, you're going to see it from 2 miles away. Unless you're really, really good at what you do. So I kind of stay away from stucco.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, stucco cracks all the time, right? So, I mean,
well,
yeah.
And there's you're handyman, but you have to stay on top of like the latest tools and trends that come out, right? I mean, I'm assuming you have to. So like, there's now. I just learned this because we had our house painted. There's paints now that are more elastic than they used to be. So when you paint, they last a lot longer, so they don't crack. Because our house is stucco, and so when they painted it, it's a different kind. It has an elasticity to it that they didn't used to have. So supposedly this paint job, we won't have to even think about it for another 15 years or something like that. But then
that's about right. That's about right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But then we live in New Mexico. It's kind of like buying plants in New Mexico that say they can take the full sunlight. It's like, is that the New Mexico full sunlight? Yeah. So I'm
Is
the
that
same
the
way
7,000 foot elevation sunlight?
Right. Versus 5,000 or.
I have to get rid of this guy. He's
fine.
Oh, that was a furball.
He was about to knock my computer off.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you got one of those too, right?
No.
Yeah. It's me. It's all about me. Pay attention to me. Yeah. I've got one of those too.
24/7.
Right. So you have to, how do you stay up on all of that? All the stuff that comes out.
Google and YouTube.
Mhm.
You know, I got sent out to fix a Bosch dishwasher, which technically you should be a Bosch repairman to work on a Bosch dishwasher, but they needed it done. They needed it done that afternoon. So I just Googled, you know, how do I fix this dishwasher? And it told me, and I did it, and it worked.
Right. Right.
So,
Yeah.
See, those of us, you know, we watch those, and they say like crazy ass terms, and we go, ahawada, ahawada. Yeah, reach behind the doohickey and turn the thingamabobber, and the hoochie dooger will pop right out. Like, I'm out. That's it. I'm done.
yeah.
Yeah, because you also have to be good at that kind of thing. You have to be good at understanding what you're watching, and you have to be confident and talented, right? To be able to do that stuff.
You do, but you also need to have the right tools, because when I first started,
Right.
you know, of course I had a saw and a drill and all this good stuff, but they make little jigs for putting up cabinet hardware where you get them straight. And, you know, the first time I did it, I was measuring all the holes and just hoping that I got it right.
The jig.
Well, you can just buy a jig and hold it up and go like this
That
and drill,
shit
and
is
you're done.
magic. Let me tell you, I finally got mine, and I got it up there, and I got it right. And then it's like, then I'm standing there because I've not done this again, remember? And I'm not a pro like you. So I'm standing there and I'm like, okay, but I got to put it on that door now. And my husband was like, you know, whoop, turn it the other way, and it slides around. Oh, that's so cool. Don't touch my jig. Everything's tightened down. Like I am like ratchet down, because if it moves,
yeah.
Oh, just again, if you ever hear me talk about,
I'll give you a little hint. If you're doing cabinet hardware or anything that has to be precise, start with a teeny little drill bit and get that pilot hole right on your pencil mark, and then go up a couple of size drill bits, and then go to the drill bit that's the size you need to put the screw through the hole. Because drills will travel depending on the product you're drilling into. And even if you have a jig, if you don't get that hole right on the pencil mark, you're done.
Or you got to keep the drill bit straight, because you know I'm shorter than my husband, so mine was just so then it only took one time for us to go, no, it's not level, shut up, just drill, it's not level, go up, go down, shut up, it's not. I mean, it was like, again, if you hear me talking DIY, Pam, just yell at me, because that was it. So I have a great appreciation for people who know like you, who know those tricks and have been there and know all that stuff, because as a first-time person ever doing something like that, and I learned what a punch was. That was very cool.
Yeah.
You punch it so that you have the little divot there. But knowing about the smaller and then going up to the bigger drill bit would have been handy a few months ago, my friend.
Well, you know, you got it done, right?
And they're beautiful. Yeah. And then we learned all about wall anchors, because my house, I always thought there was 18 inches between studs. Everything here is 24. So I don't know if they were trying to be cheap or what, or I don't know, but all my walls are 24-inch studs. So most of my cabinets are held up with wall things, but we found, so this is like going back to finding the cool things and the new things and what's out there on the market. And like this one it's a wall anchor, but it has like a zip tie effect. You drill the hole, you push it through, and you go zip, and it's like, we were kids. We were like, oh, look, this is the coolest thing. And all four of us, it's my turn. Right. And we're doing all this. But so do you go into a place like Home Depot and look at a brand new product like that and go, that sounds like bullshit to me. Or that looks, really, because it's more expensive than the other ones. But, you look at it.
I'm in Home Depot pretty much every day, sometimes 2 or 3 times a day.
Oh, wow.
I got that store memorized. I even know where the furnace filters are because, in every DIY store, they're in a different aisle.
Right.
Yeah.
The staff must know you personally.
Oh my God. It's crazy.
Yeah.
They're like, what'd you mess up now?
Oh no.
I spend a
Right,
lot of
yeah.
time at the return counter because, when somebody calls and says they have an issue, exactly what light bulb do I need? Exactly what, and you ask the client, like, I'm like, is it LED? And they're like, what does that mean? And I'm like, so I
Yeah.
just go buy like 10 light bulbs, put the one in that's right, either keep for stock or take back the others.
Right. Yeah.
And that's true with a lot of different materials because, if it's far out of town, like in El Dorado, you don't want to drive all the way out there to see what you need and then have to turn around and drive back to Santa Fe.
Right.
Kind of want to have an arsenal of options when you get out there.
Right. That makes sense. Do you move walls and do sheetrock and that kind of stuff, or?
I can repair sheetrock, and patch it. It's here with everything being textured and the orange peel and all this kind of stuff. Patching is not easy like it was when I lived on the East Coast where everything was smooth.
Yes.
It's easy to make things smooth. It's not that easy to make things textured.
Yeah.
So you can buy the spray bottle of stuff, and that works if you knock it down properly afterwards. I think the biggest project I did was probably in a rental home. It was a 2-story house, 2 bedrooms, 2 baths on each level, but they weren't connected. Like you had to go outside to go upstairs. And the owners wanted to open it up so it could be a 4-bedroom, 4-bath rental. And they said, there's 2 closets in weird places. I'm wondering if it's the top and bottom of a staircase that we've never seen. I don't know. Let's find out. So we ripped the sheetrock off the back of the closet, and damn if there wasn't a staircase going upstairs.
Wow.
So we blew out both ends, painted, put up motion detector, battery-powered lights, a handrail, and the guy came and did new carpet down the stairs, and now it's a 4-bedroom, 4-bath rental.
Wow.
Which was kind of cool because there's only a few of those in Santa Fe.
Really?
Yeah.
That's wild. It's like
it was fun. Just the excitement of ripping that sheetrock out of the first closet, and literally there are stairs going upstairs.
That would be so cool.
Right. That would have, like discovering a treasure chest or something.
I was gonna say, yeah, hidden doors. So have you ever done the thing where you're putting in a new cabinet or something and you put the skeleton in there for the next person when they lift it off and scare the crap out of them? You ever done fun things like that?
I'm not going to answer that.
I love you. That's awesome. I've seen those. It's like, or you take the mirror out and there's one. This was brutal. It was like bloody handprints and then down the wall. And I thought I would stand there and be like, yeah.
You only do that to your friends and customers who are really, really, really difficult.
Yeah.
Normal people, you just leave them alone.
I had a house in McKinney, Texas, and it was an old historical little shotgun house. It was probably close to 100 and something years old. And we wanted to remodel the kitchen, but that meant either taking out an old window or just covering up the window. And I had this picture of this senior looking woman who just had these big glasses on. She was really eccentric. I had it blown up. I pasted her picture so it was facing outside on the window, and then we covered up the window from the inside. So from the outside, it looked like she was watching you.
That's great. I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah. Wow. That's cool though. I've seen those like, the skeleton dressed in clothes and everything crammed into a wall and then pasted over. I thought, okay, y'all, there's a special place in hell for y'all. Cause that's I'd be the,
Mm-hmm.
I'm coming. Yeah. Oh my
And
gosh.
something too that's really interesting. I just had a client in El Dorado that they live in a beautiful home, and she got this from somewhere upstairs. She brought down this giant table that you could, I guess, consider a console or a sofa table,
Mm-hmm.
but it was about 3 inches too tall to go behind her leather sofa. So she had me come over to see about building her a new table. And I said, or we can cut the legs off of this table.
Right.
And she was like,
Oh,
really? I was like, yeah, I'll just cut 3 inches off each leg and we're good to go.
right.
He was like, okay. So it was a $75 fix instead of, $500 to build a table.
Right. Right.
Well,
Wow.
thank you for being honest with her and not just running with the $500 table, but you know what I'm saying, there's an easier way to do this.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
in this business, a lot of it's word of mouth. And,
Mm,
you want those words that people say to be words that'll get you jobs, not keep you from getting jobs.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
people talk. So you
Yeah.
have to remember that.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
why I was asking if you came to. Yeah. Yeah. And so our house was a fix and flip. And so we've been here 14 years and we still find like every once in a while it'll be like, oh, yeah, Danny was here. Yeah. It'll be just it'll be something like that. And one of those was in bathrooms and I tried to fix it. And to this day, I'm just like mortified at what my bathroom looks like because the orange peel is not fun.
No, it's not. It's not fun at all.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to fix it.
And there, and that's also I get work from people that have bought flips because it's become so popular that a lot of the people doing the flipping probably maybe shouldn't be doing the flipping
Right.
when it comes to the construction and the choice of materials
Mm-hmm.
and things like that. So you can get a decent house on a flip for
Mm-hmm.
sure, but you just need a budget that you're probably going to want to switch a few things out.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely. Mhm.
Pam knows the story too.
Yeah.
But yeah. But there are things, and like I said, it looks easy, right? You think, oh, I can just do da da da, and
Mhm.
then you get into like, just getting into it, and you go, I need a what and a
Right.
what and one of those two. You're
Mhm.
right. It is all about having the right tools because once you get the jig, right, doing all the cabinets from after you do one is easy
Right.
rather than the measuring and the whole type of thing. But I think from going forward, I would rather reach out to
Crazy,
someone
buddy.
like you.
Well, and I know my limitations. I mean, I was at a house yesterday. They wanted a security system removed with all the motion detectors and the big panel and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, yeah, that's great. It won't take hardly any time to take all this down, but your walls are diamond plaster,
Oh, wow.
and that's a different ball game to patch and repair than sheetrock.
Right.
And I said, I don't know enough about diamond plaster to do this, so I'll remove it, but then I'll find you someone to come out and fix your wall.
Yeah.
What the hell
Because
is
if I do
diamond
it, it's
plaster?
gonna look like I didn't know what I was doing.
Right. Right.
'Cause
It's that
diamond
smooth.
plaster is just a difficult product to deal with.
Yeah. Yeah.
Beautiful, but it's difficult.
Beautiful. Yeah. I love the look of
Well,
it.
now I gotta go Google that and find out.
Yeah. It's a
Orange
really
peel,
cool
bad enough. Diamond plaster sounds like a total nightmare. Hey, but I don't have popcorn ceilings. I have to say, at least I grew up with popcorn. I loved popcorn ceilings as a kid because it was cool to like look at the twinkle. I had twinklies in it and the whole bit. I thought as a kid that was really cool. But I can't imagine nowadays having.
Oh.
So
And
you had
painting.
you had the old glitter popcorn.
Yeah, I had glitter popcorn. Southern California, baby. Yeah, you bet. Every
Hey, we
house.
had it in North Carolina too.
Yeah. Yeah.
It
It was
was
great at
everywhere.
Christmas time. All the lights. I mean, your ceiling was like a
Yeah.
line. It was awesome.
Yeah. Well, Jeff, how can people reach you if they would like to contact you to see if
The
job
best
is-
way would either be by phone or email.
Mhm.
And I mean, I can hold my card up, and
There we
if
go.
they're watching this,
Mm-hmm. There you go. And Erica has it up on the screen too. That's perfect. Awesome.
how
Now,
about
where the
that?
hell is El Dorado?
It's about 8 miles northeast of Santa Fe.
Oh,
It's a community that was built in the 70s and 80s. It's like 1,100 homes. It was initially built for people who like to come spend the summer. So it's some smaller houses. In a lot of them, you're not going to find giant open floor plans and gourmet kitchens and enormous master baths and things like that. But they all are on at least an acre and a half of land, up to 2.5, 3, 4 acres,
mm,
which just appeals to a lot of people, especially if you have dogs and things like that.
Mhm.
But there's a lot of work out there because the houses are older and have not been lived in full time, which can create
Right.
maintenance issues.
Oh,
Right.
interesting. Yeah.
And a lot of the handyman in Santa Fe don't want to drive out there. And I'm like,
8 miles? Like,
right?
is it like 8 miles over crocodiles? What is, I mean, 8 miles? Like, you gotta,
It's
it's
a
like
good thing
through
they
the
don't live in
swamp? I don't
LA.
think so. Yeah,
Yeah.
8 miles. Good
Wow,
Lord. You gotta
that's
get on a
interesting.
bicycle. Come on now, people.
I'll
Yeah.
drive 8 miles to get cheaper gas.
Right.
Hello? Of course.
That's
I'm gonna
hysterical.
say 23 cents a gallon. You bet your ass I'm driving 8 miles up to, Come on now. 8 miles.
Yeah.
Wow.
On that note, thank you so much for being a guest on the podcast, Jeff. We really appreciate your being here.
I've really enjoyed it. It's fun.
Good, good, good. And thanks everybody for listening. Please keep listening to these podcasts and support these business owners in New Mexico.
Amen. Yeah.
Amen.